Good evening, everyone. Cut it off. Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Jessica Blum here joining me tonight for a special edition. Not just me. You get meteorologist Bill Rentschler, too, as he's filling in for Brad on his evening shows. And we've got a lot to talk about.
It is so refreshing.
You were telling me this.
Because the last 2 weeks, there was nothing to talk about.
Yes.
It was just mild, warm,
more mild,
above average, record high.
Hard to come up with a web article title every day when it's more mild,
mild and
more
dry. Mild and dry continues. More mild and dry. So yeah, now we have 8 different things that we can talk about.
We do. It was hard to pick out just 3 things for some headlines, and then we're going to go even deeper into some of these headlines and talk about more bullet points on even each of these things, because record highs are likely tomorrow. We didn't get to 70 degrees today, but we'll likely be well in the 70s tomorrow. Then we've got wind coming up, as you can tell probably with the warm weather and just how dry we've been. That is going to come with some extreme fire danger on Tuesday as well. And then we've got to talk about a drastic dip by the end of the week.
And like, I won't take issue with the word drastic, but like it will be like a almost 40-degree temperature drop.
It's drastic to me.
It is drastic, but like it's a drastic drop back to where we should be.
That is true. I just say we've gotten used to some of this fake spring because it's been lasting for so long in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and now we're dipping back to the 30s, and I think it's going to be like, oh, welcome back winter. This is where we should be.
So I think 76 tomorrow, and I think some of the models for like, I think it was maybe Sunday night to Monday had like a low of 8. So, you know, we're going to be going from almost 80.
Oh, for next weekend?
And then I think it's either late this weekend or early next week. One of the models had, it was just a model. It's not what we went with our forecast, but one of the models had 8. So 80 to 8 over the course of the next week.
And you don't like the word drastic?
No, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I think
where
drastic, it's like, oh, it's going to be single digits or teens, but it's going to be mid-30s to low to mid-40s.
I just wanted to put drastic because in
That's
context,
it's a good word.
Been.
It's a good word. I like it.
I like
also
the
drastic.
I always try to.
You look at the Lincoln Weather Almanac for the day today. 5 years ago today.
You're talking way too much about things that, okay. We haven't even got to it. Bill, I was trying to tell him before we got on this stream that I've got so many graphics prepped and he's just ready to get the ball rolling. He was about to give away something that I have later on. This is all chronological. This is really well thought out. I hope by the end of this, Bill, you'll be like, wow, that was really smoothly flowing for a live stream that was set to last like a half hour. But you made this graphic. It's beautiful in the way it lays out what we're expecting all day Tuesday.
I really wanted to put maybe like an Elmo picture on the back of the graphic too.
The fiery background.
Kind of like the meme there. No, so yeah, tomorrow it's one of those, it's really hard to get into the 70s in February, and when we do, it's usually in part because there's wind.
Yes.
And so record highs, partly because of the wind, but then you also look at the fact that we have expanding drought. The fuels are dry. We've hardly had any snow this season. There's no snow on the ground, so the fuels are dry. You have this freight train of a low-pressure system moving through, and it's going to create westerly winds, which westerly winds in western Nebraska are a downsloping wind, which creates even drier conditions. And so we have extremely high fire danger across, especially western Nebraska into the day tomorrow. Not as bad here in eastern Nebraska, but kind of like Sam Cobb said in his story in the early shows, one spark. If someone's
usually human error.
Yeah, if say it's a semi or something like that, it hits a rock and creates a spark. Someone's working in the field, farming equipment creates a spark, and all of a sudden in the middle of cigarette butt out the window, and all of a sudden along the interstate in the middle of a field, it's hard to get to. You have this huge raging fire, and then you have winds going 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, and that fire is going to spread extremely quickly.
They literally talked about erratic behavior. Just prepare for it tomorrow if one were to get started. So we're going to talk about these things in order. We'll talk about the record highs first, the strong winds. There are some scattered showers with that freight train of a system that Bill was just mentioning that maybe we get a rumble of thunder out of. We'll talk about that, as well as the high fire danger, especially out in western Nebraska, but really the entire state of Nebraska is included in that. So as we talk about the record high, Lincoln is included in that, actually. So we didn't get to 70 degrees today, but the record high for tomorrow would be 74 from 2017, and we do have a high temperature forecasted to get above that. This isn't maybe quite as warm as we were looking over the weekend or even this morning. If you
I had to talk Carmelo.
Yes.
He had gone with 78, which it's still certainly within the realm of possibility. I certainly wouldn't be shocked tomorrow with the wind. If someone got close to 80, if not maybe hit 80 degrees,
Yeah.
but probably the best chance for that is in central Nebraska. But, you know, so this will be the second. If we hit 76, it'd be the second 76 this month, which I think Carmelo looked it up. I think is tied for the sixth warmest
ever.
February temperature in Lincoln. The monthly record is 83, so I don't think we're going to get there. But it would be the
the fifth record high we'd set for the year.
Yeah, and we set 4 in all of 25.
All of last year, yeah.
And I mean that's through 45 days of the year, and we have 5 of them. 11% of the days have record highs.
2026 has been something so far, and as you mentioned, maybe 80 degrees closer in central Nebraska. We had this conversation in the Weather Center because there's a lot that goes into our forecasted numbers, and we've got to think about all the elements, whether it's
clouds,
compressional warming in front of a front. So we think central Nebraska. Look at Grand Island. We've got a forecast high of 79, but yeah, 76 here in Lincoln, and we listed out really all the locations that will be close, if not breaking those records with our forecast going into tomorrow. You'll see 2 years stick out.
2017
and 1981. These aren't old records by any means, even though 2017 is pushing almost 10 years ago. If you could believe that. I really can't believe that.
Oh, man.
Even 2016 was 10 years ago, and people were doing that on social media, the memories and everything. But it is going to be warm, and it's going to be windy. Wanted to show what models may be projecting at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The worst time frame for this fire danger is especially going to be in the late afternoon hours when the winds will be their worst, peaking around 35, 40, maybe 45 miles per hour in eastern Nebraska, maybe higher than that in western Nebraska with those down-sloping winds.
Parts of the Panhandle, they had a high wind watch. I'm sure it's probably been converted over to a high wind warning this evening, but parts of the Panhandle basically looking at 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts possible. Kind of like, it's 40 for eastern Nebraska, 40 to 45, probably 45 to 50 in central Nebraska, and then probably like 50 to 70 for the western third of the state in terms of those wind gusts tomorrow.
And I just wanted to break it down hour by hour to give us an idea in Lincoln when those stronger winds are going to come. Of course, it takes some time in the day. We are going to see a little sunshine, I think, by the afternoon. That'll help mix down some stronger winds, too. But you'll see those wind gusts really strengthening above 30, 35 miles per hour by the mid and late morning hours, and then especially into the afternoon. But still breezy well into tomorrow night, I think, and maybe potentially overnight into Wednesday as well. So let's bring it back to this graphic. But I think the most important point to talk about is that high fire danger. Again, we have Sam Cobb, as Bill just talked about, one of our reporters going out to talk to the rural fire departments and what they're preparing for tomorrow, because I think this is an exception and a rare day, especially for western Nebraska, to see all these different elements come together.
And I don't know if this is stealing your thunder on a graphic you might be pulling in here. The National Weather Service in North Platte sent out a tweet with
about this.
Yep. With the extreme, the shaded pink area, North Platte. The North Platte area hasn't had extreme fire danger since 2015.
Yes.
So first time in over 10 years for them. And so again, this is that combination of, you just showed the drought monitor. It's been dry. Again, time of the year where all these fields are still brown. Nothing's started greening up yet. You have dry fuels, and then if something starts, it could grow by leaps and bounds pretty quickly.
Yes, and they even said too, kind of what I mentioned before, just expect the extreme erratic fire behavior because of these winds. It's going to get out of hand rather quickly, not something that we can really control.
And we will say again, this is all, we are not expecting fires to start tomorrow. We are keeping our fingers crossed that fires do not start tomorrow.
Yes.
If there's no fires that start tomorrow, then it's just a warm and windy day, and we'll call it good. But again, one spark, one ember, doesn't take much. And again, we've seen fires here in Lancaster County, or at least in southeastern Nebraska, where it gets real smoky, and it's just like it gets real gross real quick, and that can happen basically anywhere in the state along the Front Range into northeastern Colorado into the day tomorrow.
People don't realize, I think, as they're pulling over to the side of the road with a car and the hot underbody, and that can also spark a quick grass fire, because they really haven't seen snow in western Nebraska. The last 2 seasons have been very Disappointing for
I think
the weekend.
Scotts Bluff is almost 2 feet below average for their snowfall. Cheyenne has had about a fifth of what they would usually see. They year to date should be around 35 inches, and they're at around 7 inches.
Which
so
is
far
what
this
we
season.
are. And
Which is what we are.
We're below average too, but not nearly as much as the rest of the state.
We're short a foot, not 3 feet.
Yeah.
Or 4 feet.
Just a
Whatever
foot.
it might be. Yeah.
But as for putting this and kind of boiling this down to what the National Weather Service issues for a product, you'll see much of central and western Nebraska within that red flag warning, and the fire weather watch in eastern Nebraska. They're looking to see that criteria met. They'll likely go toward a red flag warning to be issued and in effect for much of the day, Tuesday afternoon, and into the evening hours especially.
And so these products here that you see have to do. It doesn't have to. It could be 40 degrees. It doesn't have to be 70, whatever.
Yeah.
This is relative humidity value. So again, how much moisture there is in the air and the wind. And so they're talking relative humidity values 10% or maybe lower
Yeah.
in parts of western, southwestern Nebraska, northeastern Colorado tomorrow. So just extremely dry. That's like desert dry type of air.
Yeah, so we just want everyone to be careful. That's kind of wrapping up what we want to talk about with the fire weather. Today, again, we didn't hit 70 degrees, but Bill tried to give this away a moment ago. You'll see the record for the coldest temperature in Lincoln on this day, -31. On this day, 5 years ago, dropped 30 below.
I
31
remember
below.
because this was obviously still dealing with COVID.
Yeah.
And so I was still working from home, and I was just sitting there that morning waiting because, we have hourly temperatures, but sometimes the high or the low doesn't happen on the hour. It happens in the middle. And so every 6 or so hours, the Weather Service will send out their max min table. And so I remember just sitting there waiting for the max min table to come out. And then it was finally -31, which I believe -33 is the coldest ever that we've been in Lincoln. So second coldest ever. I remember, though, I was inside, did not go outside. And again, this morning, we set a record warm low temperature of 39.
I was
So
just going to point that out.
A
We were warm.
70-degree difference between this morning and what we had 5 years ago today.
Somewhere
this
even closer
morning.
to 50 degrees this morning. Lows of 47 in Beatrice and Fall City.
And it will be even warmer tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have another record low.
If we were keeping track of all of that, that would be way too many records for this
There's
year already.
too
It'd
many.
be like almost a hand,
Too
like
many.
2 handfuls already. But I wanted to also show you the high temperatures today. We did not get to 70, but you'll see this is kind of reminiscent of what we were showing for tomorrow's forecast, in which central Nebraska may be a little bit warmer. They were into the lower 70s today. You look at Ord at 71, Broken Bow at 72.
I
Lexington
think
at
Omaha
72.
tied a record.
Did they?
I think they did. I think North Platte was a degree shy. Grand Island, Hastings were maybe a 2 or 3 degrees shy. We were obviously 5 degrees shy. I think Norfolk was close.
So getting close.
So, yeah, a lot of areas close, and we'll jump over that hurdle benchmark tomorrow.
And you give me crap for saying a drastic dip by the end of this week, but you are the one that made this graphic
I
and
did.
pointed out the fact
did.
that this has been the warmest start to February through the first 16 days ever in
Ever.
history.
So,
So warm.
55, and this is just our
That's the
high
average
temperatures.
high temperature.
Average high temperature. We've had 2 days with a below average high temperature, and that was towards the beginning of the month,
yeah.
and I think it was like 33 and like 35 or something like that. So it wasn't even necessarily all that cold. But technically it was below average, the only 2 that we've had. Otherwise, 14 days with above average high temperatures. You have a 76 already mixed in there, 67 today. I think it was 61 on Saturday, 64, 66 on Sunday. So, I mean, you add them all up and you divide by 16, 55.8. And if you factor in the
Kinda
lows,
crushes.
it does.
Even
I mean,
some
by almost a full degree.
Yeah.
And if you factor in the lows, it's the 4th warmest. And I guess say start.
Overall.
First half of the month of February. And while it will be drastically colder, it's not. I mean, it cools back down to seasonal, and then it really warms back up again pretty quickly. So, there's only
There may be some factors.
11 days left
about,
in the month,
but
11 full days left in the month. I would be shocked if we weren't in the top 5 warmest Februarys of all time by the end of the month.
Because the longer range model, or the Climate Prediction Center, we'll show you that map too, is still
Red.
hinting, at above average temperatures through the end of the month and toward the beginning of March even. But as you join us here about a quarter after 8 o'clock on February 16th, we do have a little cloud cover that's increasing tonight. You're looking at
It's
our
so
sky
nice
view
outside
cameras.
right now.
Is it?
Yeah, just been walking in just now. It's still so nice outside.
If you heard me say "is it," it's because I haven't been outside since I came into
We
work
still
and I-
have all the windows open in my house. Before I just left the house, I was looking at my wife and I'm like, this window's open, this window's open, this window's open, this window's open. Because a couple of things, it was last week, it was one of those warm days, windows were open. We forgot to close one window, which was, of course, the window right by our bed, and woke up in the middle of the night and it was about 25 degrees outside.
Oof.
So I was like,
Well, even tonight, if you were to leave some of those windows open, it might
Probably
be a
be
little
fine.
windier. Well, yeah, you probably would be fine because the wind's probably not kicking up till
No,
later.
not
tomorrow
too much.
morning. But yeah, still 57 degrees with our Tempest station here at 1011 Studio. So only a south wind at 6 miles per hour. We'll take that as much as we can. Hopefully, an evening walk is pretty
yeah,
comfortable
I
for
saw,
everyone.
I still saw driving through my neighborhood. Again, it's dark now,
Yeah.
but still saw half a dozen folks out walking the dog.
So many people I saw today on their motorcycles, just enjoying this weather, getting it out earlier than they probably have in quite a while in recent years because our snow season was later last year and lasted a little later, and we'll see if it comes back around. I mean, we do have something to talk about in terms of snow by the end of this week.
Yeah, we haven't even
Portions of the
gotten to-
state. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to that. And we're about 16 minutes in. So southeast Nebraska, very comfortable with most of us still having readings in the 50s. Expanding that view across the state, you'll see somewhere in the 40s in the higher elevation in the Sandhills, 46 in Ainsworth, though. Like, that's still completely comfortable at this time of the year with fairly light winds. A little bit more of a breeze in the far panhandle, but that's not too bad for them either. But there you see the increasing cloud cover we've kind of seen across the state. And I do have to point out that we do have an outlook for general thunderstorms in far eastern Nebraska tomorrow. This is something I want to watch because what I'm going to take you through as Skycast goes through tomorrow, and then we'll talk about the chance for rain and snow across the state by the end of this week. But Lincoln not included, but we may be on the edge of seeing or hearing a rumble of thunder tomorrow late afternoon and the evening, especially though as you get closer to the Missouri River. I think that chance is a little bit better.
76 degrees tomorrow again, and there's really no moisture with the system, but it's just such a dynamic, powerful upper level dynamics of this could be enough to give us a few rumbles of thunder out there.
We've got at least a couple shorter term models that are hinting at something starting about right there.
5-6 o'clock.
Late afternoon, yep. Evening hours, people are going home. Wouldn't be surprised if you need to use your windshield wipers or have a quick downpour as you look at northeast Nebraska and maybe a little bit more moderate rainfall. But that's it. That's it. Quickly moves on out of here. Most of Wednesday is quiet, and then we get to this time 2 nights from now, and we're starting to see some more clouds increasing in western Nebraska, maybe seeing a little more precipitation first, maybe mixed at first before a transition over to some snow. But you see the rapid circulation, the center of this low pressure system by the end of this week is probably tracking right through the state, which is going to give us pretty good forcing, some decent winds again, I think, toward the end of this week.
Mm-hmm. You'll be showing the snowfall forecast this time 2 nights from now. Because it does look like with this system, this is going to be a second system, second low that kind of spits out of the Rockies. This first system that we're going to move through tomorrow, the Arctic front with it, the cold air does not spill south. So it will be cooler Wednesday, but it's still going to be in the 60s. The second system finally kind of pulls that colder air down. And so the second system is one that has the chance to snow. Right now, I'm concerned. My biggest concern with this is the dry air, and especially for us in southeastern Nebraska. This for the last, even going back to late last week, this has always looked like it would mainly impact the northern parts of the state, and then into South Dakota. And so models have been fairly consistent in showing a pretty good stripe of snow, but again, mainly across northern Nebraska. This is the European model, GFS model. So again, very similar in their placements, of the snow, obviously differing in the amounts. Again, that European model, that's a stripe of maybe a foot of snow.
Probably not.
Would love to see it.
Yeah,
Would love to
they
see
would
it.
love to see it.
But probably not going to get a foot. This is probably a much more realistic solution, a couple inches across northern Nebraska. But check out the mountains there again. The mountain snow, Rockies have been way short on their snow.
I'm sure they're like,
and they're
their
going to
hands, and they're like,
they're going to get, and again, you break it, you get into it goes white, and then it kind of goes orange, and then it kind of goes yellow. They're probably talking, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet of snow across some of the higher elevations there in the mountains.
So maybe being below a few feet, they could catch up.
They can catch up. It's a lot easier to catch up.
It is.
When you're at 10,000 feet
for
up.
sure. Bring it back home, though. Your Schaefer's Lincoln forecast for tonight still has us in the 50s at 9 o'clock, turning mostly cloudy, but again, comfortable into tomorrow morning. Maybe a record warm low with a low of 49 degrees.
I would say technically, I put our low at 45.
Okay, and then
but that was
it's
probably shortly after midnight tonight. Then the wind kind of turns to the southeast and picks up kind of overnight, and so actually that with the cloud cover, temperatures actually kind of climb a little bit overnight. But 30 degrees above
average.
Average.
A low temperature.
Yeah.
Quite something. And then tomorrow afternoon, yes, making a run for the middle, if not the upper 70s, maybe close to 80 degrees in portions of central Nebraska. As we mentioned, 25 degrees warmer than average there on that end, too. So it's certainly easier.
35 degrees above average.
Yeah. When you're starting to, that's what, okay.
Math's tough, man.
20, I got the 5 and then didn't even care to get the 20 or the 30 right. But
and look at that
right,
wind.
35.
That's the sustained wind.
Ugh.
So, again,
25.
gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour. Certainly not out of the realm of possibility. Again, cloudy in the morning, but I do think maybe a couple hours of full sun, mostly sunny skies in the afternoon are certainly possible.
Yeah, ahead of that front moving through.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got temperatures tonight cooling down in the upper 20s out in the Panhandle, but still closer to 50 degrees in Falls City. And there's your low of 45 degrees that Bill mentioned might happen just after midnight. And then we're warming tomorrow. Just wanted to show you this one more time. Nearing record highs, if not setting record highs, in several spots for much of eastern and central Nebraska. And then on Wednesday, not so bad. Kind of a transitional day. We are going to get a little cooler. 50s out west, but I think it's by the end of this week that we're still going to be, I think, wanting the 60s back.
The elevator's going down.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Plays slide whistle.
Mid 60s down to low 40s, which, again, today was the first day our average high is at 41. So 41 on Thursday is right where we should be. But I think that 41's probably earlier-ish in the day. It's not necessarily at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Probably earlier in the day. Temperatures could be falling in the afternoon. It will also going to be windy on Thursday. So the wind chill on Thursday is probably teens and 20s for most of the day.
No thanks.
Yeah. So Mother Nature's just going to kind of cock back and punch us in the face a little bit with the cold and windy weather.
There you go.
Thursday.
Drastic dip. If you're talking about actual air temperatures tomorrow versus the wind chill on
Feels
Thursday.
then yes.
Then we've got like a 50, almost 60 degree drop. No, thank you.
I will be interested, though, because the temperature Thursday and temperature Friday and Saturday and Sunday, if we go Thursday and we get no snow,
yeah,
I bet
trend a little
you
warmer.
probably will tack on 5 degrees
Yeah.
onto those temperatures.
And that's what I was going to
if we
out,
do
too.
get maybe a couple inches of snow, which right now I don't think it necessarily looks like that, you could probably take away 5 degrees off those temperatures.
And that's why I think you see the drastic dip in some of those northern locations from the middle and upper 70s tomorrow to Thursday, 30s, if not 20s for high. Look at Valentine. 66 tomorrow, 20 on Thursday.
Back to 60 by next Tuesday.
Back to 60. They are set to get maybe a little more snow, though, on the ground, so you can see those colder temperatures try to hang on through the weekend, and then some melting, and then maybe back toward, the 40s and the 50s and 60s, all just like that. And those are kind of the locations where you see precipitation chances by Thursday peaking as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've got us at 30% too. I think you had some conversations with Carmelo about that.
I wondered about going 20.
Yeah.
I think he said Brandon he had upped it to 30 this morning. There's enough on there to justify 30. Again, if purely we're going about, the chance of Lincoln receiving measurable moisture.
Could
We'll
be a
see.
little something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were even talking about maybe bumping, I think, tomorrow down to 20. Or
We were,
seeing.
because again, it's one of those. It feels like it happens all the time. It's like, hey, there's going to be showers or thunderstorms, but they're kind of supposed to start right over Lincoln. And it's like, and if they don't,
then we
then we
don't
get
see
nothing.
anything.
No, we don't get nothing.
But if they start just before Lincoln, then we do see a
Then we
little
do
bit of
see.
something. Yeah. But as for your longer range climate prediction center outlook, this is through March 2nd. This has yet to materialize. I've been hearing you talk about this in your streams in the morning. We have yet to see above average precipitation.
It's a
You see-
trend. It's a pattern.
Yeah. And you see northern Nebraska is highlighted. So I would think this end of the week system may be part of that. And maybe it's connecting some of the
Just waiting.
Rockies and
Just waiting. 1/100th of an inch of liquid precip this month. A trace of snow.
yeah.
That's it. Again, warmest February on record for highs.
Still looks warm.
So, and then, yeah, it still looks warm
Red,
there.
As Bill would
Um,
say, just red
red.
everywhere.
Red everywhere. And that's into the first 2 days of meteorological spring, which is
Woo!
right around the corner there,
Counting it
March
down.
1st.
Counting it down.
And then after that, I'm not sure when do we spring forward? Is that first week in March? Do we know?
second week, I thought.
Is
I
it
thought
second
was
week?
like
I don't remember.
let me look it up for you.
It's always really sad. I prefer standard time like we're on now, or we're March 8th.
March 8th.
There you go. Because the weather models come out 0Z, 6Z, 18Z.
Yeah, 6 hours.
So
Or
we have to wait an extra hour to get the latest weather information in the afternoon.
we sure do.
It's sad.
You know what made me happy over the weekend, though? The sunset being later than 6
It's like
o'clock.
6:02 today, I think.
6:03.
It's
The almanac.
6:03.
Yeah. I looked at it. I just didn't include the full one. Just wanted to keep you on your toes. See what you might say.
I was close.
But you threw a cold and windy on Thursday because of some of those wind chills. and
Because of the
knock
wind
in
chills.
temperature.
41 is not cold,
No.
but again, when we have had half a dozen days in the 60s, a day in the 70s, another day in the 70s, another day in the 60s, 41 is going to feel pretty chilly.
It is going to feel, and even morning lows in the teens after we're talking about being in the middle 40s tomorrow morning. I think
Yep.
it's going to be interesting to feel this weekend, but a day full of sun by the end of the weekend, too.
We'll see about that.
We'll see about that. Just wanted to tease that really quick, but really beautiful weather today without the wind. I don't think tomorrow's as beautiful just because we've got to worry about the fire danger and a lot more wind tomorrow, even though it will be warm. It's weird to be talking about maybe a chance for rumble of thunder. I feel like this is almost a March setup and we're getting toward
This is the
later
second
in
time, I
spring.
think, in the last week we've at least kind of been included,
yeah.
or at least parts of the state have been included in a general thunderstorm outlook, which, again, I think if you go back last year, I want to say our first severe thunderstorm warning last year might have been in February. There's usually
Okay.
every other year or so, there's maybe a couple severe thunderstorm warnings in February. Obviously, that's really not supposed to be ramping up until March and April, but
I just feel
we're not that far away from that season.
fake spring is really fake spring.
It's
this year.
fake spring has lasted a lot longer than I feel like it
way
usually
longer
does.
than it should.
I'm just concerned we're going to get into real spring, and instead of getting these nice long stretches of 60s and 70s, we're just going to jump straight into the 80s and 90s.
I mean,
I want a good
dry.
period of room temperature weather.
Or just a good stretch of rainy weather. Let's get some more systems
would be
to
nice.
come down, which
That
is
would
some
be
rain
nice.
if we're going to be warm and
My
get
backyard,
some efficient moisture.
my backyard needs the rain, but my backyard is also mud, and I have 3 dogs, so causes problems. A lot of problems.
You know what? We can have a separate stream for all your
Okay.
problems,
Well,
Bill. No, I'm just kidding.
That would we need a couple of them for that.
But we appreciate everyone joining us here this evening. Bill will have you covered at the 10 o'clock for our latest forecast, and then we'll kind of get more back on schedule with everyone kind of returning to normal. Brad will be back
Brad
tomorrow.
ruined it. Brad had to go on vacation.
He had to go do
Brad things.
not chiefly things, Brad things. But he's enjoying his time, and I'm sure he'll be excited to be back and with you all tomorrow. But until next time, we hope everyone enjoys the warm and windy and stays safe tomorrow with the fire danger.
No outdoor burning.
No outdoor burning, and we'll have you covered with another live stream by 10:30 tomorrow morning.
1011 News is everywhere. Download our smart TV apps and follow us on social media at 1011 News.